All right, now we're getting warmed up because now it's time to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is entertainment in the villages. And this is one of those things people hear about before they move here, but I don't think you can really understand it until you experience it. Entertainment here is not just something you do once in a while. It becomes part of the lifestyle here. Music is everywhere. Town squares, restaurants, bars, special events, neighborhood parties, dancing, golf carts lined up everywhere. And if you enjoy being around people, this can be a really fun place to live. Now, one of the things the Villages is probably best known for is the nightly entertainment at the town squares. And as of right now, there are 5 major entertainment areas or squares: Spanish Springs, Lake Sumter Landing, Brownwood Paddock Square, Sawgrass Grove, and Eastport. Each one has its own personality. Spanish Springs has that older, more classic town square feel. Lake Sumter Landing, well, it's more of a waterfront feel, a coastal kind of feel. And Brownwood has more of a Western theme. In fact, when Jude and I first visited the Villages, we originally drove into Brownwood, and we said to each other, dang, it looks like we just arrived on a Western movie set. Okay, well, back to the story. Sawgrass Grove feels newer and more casual, and Eastport is part of the newer growth area in the Villages, and it feels pretty modern. They each have their own look, their own layout, and their own vibe. The basic idea, though, is the same. People show up by golf cart or by car. They meet friends, listen to music, dance, walk around, maybe grab something to eat or drink, and the entertainment is free, always. That is a big deal here. You can enjoy live music and the atmosphere without buying a ticket. And the music is not just one kind of music. 50s and 60s, 70s disco and rock, 80s, 90s, current pop, country, and here is one band that plays an entire night of Latin music. And there is a lot of options here. So live entertainment squares with live music 7 nights a week. You do the math. That is 35 bands a week. Okay, no need to get out your calculator. That's 1,820 live band performances every year. So that can mean doing something on the spur of the moment or planning it in advance. Okay, here's something you probably don't want to miss though. Go at least one time, promise me. It happens twice a year, in the fall and in the spring. The band Blonde Ambition throws a glow party. This party is crazy. The band and the people get dressed up in all kinds of glow outfits. And as my wife Jude says, put a glow stick in the hands of our residents and they go nuts. But be forewarned, these glow parties get really packed. For sure, one of the things that surprises people is how active residents are here. Moving, dancing, meeting people, trying new things. And that is a big part of the entertainment story here. It is not only about the band, it is about the social side of it. You may go to the square for the music, but you may end up seeing the same faces over and over again. And you start recognizing people, conversations happen, you run into neighbors. Before long, it becomes part of your routine. But entertainment here is not limited to the squares. That is important to understand. Restaurants and bars often have their own music and events. Some places feature solo performers, others have duos, and some feature, well, that's karaoke, of course. For someone like me who has spent a big part of my life around music and entertainment, all of these options definitely help me feel really comfortable here in the Villages. So if you do not feel like going to one of the town squares, you may still find music somewhere else. There is also the neighborhood side of entertainment. Okay, this is something many people don't realize until they live here. Driveway parties, garage parties, backyard parties, cul-de-sac get-togethers. Holy moly. People pull up in their carts, bring a chair, bring a drink in their cooler, and hang out with the neighbors. And in some neighborhoods, those little get-togethers become a big part of the social life. That may not be your thing, and that is okay. But for a lot of people, it's one of the things they end up loving here because it makes the neighborhood feel connected. Now, are you going to like every band? No. Are you going to love every event? Of course not. Is every square going to be your favorite? Nope, mine's Brownwood. But that is the kind of the point. You have choices. You have options. You can find the places, the music, and the atmosphere that fits you. Some people love the big events and others want to dance. Some want to people watch. And trust me, people watching in the villages can be its own kind of entertainment. Well, the calendar also fills up with special events throughout the year. Holiday celebrations, theme nights, car shows, festivals, glow parties, seasonal events, of course. Entertainment is not there to fill up the calendar. It gives people a reason to get out of the house, a place to go, and a way to meet other people. And for many residents, that becomes a huge part of why they enjoy living here. Now, if you're someone who wants to have complete peace and quiet all the time, well, you can still find that in your own home and your own neighborhood. But if you want activity, music, events, social opportunities, the Villages gives you a lot of ways to plug in. You do not have to do everything, and you don't have to go out every night. Don't have to be a dancer or be the life of the party. But if you want to be around people, there are a lot of opportunities here in the Villages. All right, now let's talk about another part of the Villages lifestyle that can be really hard to explain until you see it for yourself. The amenities, the rec centers, the activities, the clubs, and all the different ways people stay active here. Because when you start hearing some of the numbers, they almost sound made up. More than 100 swimming pools, more than 100 rec centers, hundreds of pickleball courts, golf, tennis, fitness classes, arts and crafts, card groups, social groups, dance clubs, oh my goodness, and more than 3,000 resident-led clubs and lifestyle groups. That is a lot. And for many people, this is one of the biggest reasons the Villages feels different from a regular retirement community. It is not just about buying a house. It is about having a lot of things to do, places to go, people to meet, and activities built into the everyday lifestyle. Now let's start with the pools. The Villages has adult pools, family pools, sports pools, and country club pools. You probably have a pool pretty close to your home. And sometimes people say to me, hey Chubby, with so many swimming pool options here in the Villages, why do some people still want their own private pool? And I always say, well, remember this, there are a few things you can't really do in a public pool. Swim whenever you want, play your own kind of music, have your own private party with just your friends, and finally, well, the fourth reason. But after they move here, it can become part of their regular routine, all of the pools. Maybe you swim, do water aerobics, play water volleyball. Maybe you sit by the pool and just talk with your neighbors or friends. Or maybe you never use it at all, and that's okay, but the point is the option is there. Then you have the rec centers, and these are not all the same, by the way. Some are smaller neighborhood centers, some are larger regional rec centers, and some have meeting rooms, activity rooms, different sizes, fitness areas, sports courts, and outdoor recreation. Cards, board games, painting, woodworking, music, exercise, dance clubs, meeting, social events, and all kinds of hobby groups. There is probably a group for you, and if there isn't one, doggone, you can start one. That is one of the cool things here. A lot of the activity comes from the residents themselves. People bring their own interests with them. They bring their hobbies and their skills, their talents, their backgrounds. And before long, those things turn into clubs, classes, and social groups. Now, pickleball is a big one here. And I know pickleball has become popular all over the world. But in the Villages, it is really popular. In fact, the Villages got onto the pickleball bandwagon way before it became an international phenomenon. You will see people playing in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And if you are new to the game, there are lots of ways to learn. And if you already play, there are plenty of opportunities to get involved. But pickleball is just one example. There's also tennis, softball, cycling, running groups, walking groups, fitness classes, and plenty of other ways to stay active. And again, you don't have to do all of it. That is the key. The Villages gives you a lot of options. You can be very active, somewhat active, or you can be relaxed and just enjoy things that fit your lifestyle. There's also the Polo Club, and that surprises a lot of people because not many retirement communities have polo, but the Villages does. During the polo season, usually in the spring and fall, people can go watch matches, tailgate, socialize, and enjoy something just a little bit different. And that is another example of how broad the entertainment and activity options are here in the villages. It's not just one thing, it's a lot of different things. Now, the clubs are probably one of the biggest parts of the social life here. And this is where people really start finding their people. There are clubs based on hobbies, where you're from, colleges, sports teams, music, service, travel, and just about every interest you can imagine. For example, I belong to two groups: the 3Cs for folks who lived in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati, or even in Ohio, period, and the Northwest Ohio group. Remember, I lived in Cleveland, and I also went to Bowling Green State University in Northwest Ohio. And there are the unofficial groups here too. Some are on Facebook, some are on Facebook Messenger. Some use WhatsApp to communicate, and these groups can be a big part of the social life too. And they are active. Sometimes they have 8 events in a week. Some are small lunches, some get-togethers, some larger dress-up themed dance parties. One time, 85 women went on a group cruise together. And sometimes they have a +1 event where spouses and significant others can join in the fun. I love going to these. And not to boast, but the women love when Chubby shows up. So if you're worried about meeting people, the club system can be a really big help because you are not starting from zero. You can walk into a room with people who already share something in common with you. Maybe it's where you grew up or a hobby, a sport, music, volunteering. But that common connection can make it easier to start conversations. And that really matters because for a lot of people, moving here is not just a real estate decision. It is a life change. You may be leaving friends, family, a long time home, a familiar routine, and suddenly you're in a brand new place. That can be exciting, but it can also feel a little bit overwhelming. So the clubs and activities help with that. They give people a way to plug in, a reason to get out, and a place to belong, and something to look forward to. Now, here is the honest part. Again, you do not have to be busy every minute of every day. Some people move here and jump into everything. Others take their time. Some people join 10 clubs. Some join 1. And some people prefer a quieter lifestyle. That is perfectly fine because the point is you don't have to do everything. The real point is that you have a lot of options.